Today, we're showcasing the CASAMBI RGB CCT remote control. It's actually the world's first RGB colored light remote. Let's take a look at its features and how to use it. In the CASAMBI app, we've already added a light that we can control. We can turn it off, turn it on, adjust its color, and change the color temperature. This controller is connected to an RGB LED strip and a CCT LED strip. Now, let's add this remote to the CASAMBI network. Click on Settings, then Nearby Devices. You'll notice the remote isn't showing up in the list yet. Press the power button to activate the remote, and it will appear in the list. Click on its icon and add it to the network, like selecting Add to My Home, which is your personal network. Alright, click back, and it should show up in the Switches section. Let's refresh it, and it should appear there now. Right now, we can't control the lights yet because we need to bind the remote to the lights. Let's go into the remote settings page. You'll see there are 8 buttons that need to be assigned functions. The basic ones are at the top, and the grouping buttons need to be linked to the lights first. Button 1 is for the first group, so let's add this light to group 1. Click on button 1, then click on Controls Illuminaire and choose our light. Done. Now the light is bound, and we can control it. Let's take a look at some functions, like turning off the light. The app will show the light status in real time. Now, let's turn the light on and adjust its color. We can also change the color temperature by clicking on CCT, which lets us switch to the dual color temperature channel. Just click to toggle through the color temperatures. Right now, it's set to warm. If you mix warm and cool, you get a neutral white. You can switch it off directly by toggling again. And one more click will turn the CCT light back on. You can also long press to adjust the color temperature. That's how the light control works. Now, there are a few buttons that we can customize. Let's go back to the Switches page. Buttons 1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond to the 4 groups on the remote. Button 5 is linked to the remote's animation button, while buttons 6, 7, and 8 correspond to the S1, S2, and S3 scene buttons on the remote. For now, let's skip setting the other group buttons and focus on configuring buttons 5 through 8. Button 5 will be for an animation. To set up the animation, we need to go back to the app scene page and create the animation scene first. Let's create a scene. Click on Edit, then add a scene. Light up the light and set it to red, for example. Click on Continue, name the scene Red. Done. Now we have a red scene ready to go. Let's create 2 more scenes. One will be a green scene, and we'll name it Green. Great, done. Now, let's make a blue scene and name it Blue. Okay, done. So, we've set up 3 scenes. Next, we want to add an animation scene that uses these 3 colors. Click on Add an Animation. Here, we can add scenes. Let's start with red and click Done. Now, let's add a wait time and set it to 1 second. Done. It shows the duration for each scene. We can set the timing. Red will last for 1 second, then wait for 1 second. Let's add the 2 other colors. Click Add a Scene, choose green, and then add a wait time of 1 second. Now, let's add another scene and select blue, then add another wait time. So, the animation will go like this: red for 1 second, wait for 1 second, then green for 1 second, wait for 1 second, then blue for 1 second, and wait for 1 second. There's also a loop animation option. We can click to enable it, so it'll play on repeat. Done. Next, let's bind these scenes and the animation to the remote. We'll go back to Settings. Click on Switches, then select the remote. Button 5 is for the animation, so let's click on Control a Scene. Choose Scene and select Animation, which is the one we just created. Done. Alright, button 5 is set up. For button 6, we can bind it to the red scene. Next is button 7, which will be for the green scene. And button 8 will be for the blue scene. Done. Now we've assigned functions to these 4 buttons. Let's see how it works. Click on S1 for the red scene, S2 for the green scene, and S3 for the blue scene. Then click the animation button, and the light colors will cycle through that animation continuously. That's it for that part. Now, let's add a new light and bind it to Group 2 to check out the group control feature. We'll bind the new light to Group 2. Click on Settings, then Switches, and select the remote. For button 2, choose Controls Illuminaire. Click on the new light and hit Done. Let's see how it works. For example, clicking Group 1 controls this light, while clicking Group 2 controls the new one. Let's turn off the lights in Group 1. Turn on the lights in Group 2. Turn off the lights. You can also adjust the light colors. That's the group control feature. There are also other buttons. One will lower the brightness, and you can long press to adjust it. You'll see the light dimming. You can also increase the brightness. Over here, you have the white light options, cool white, warm white, and neutral white, but they're mixed from the RGB colors. And that's the tutorial for this remote. Thanks for watching, and bye!